Hello again. We're just going to do about two more quick examples to show you how to do more complicated addition and subtraction with polynomials and finding least common denominators. So already in green I have highlighted here the denominators of 6 over r and negative 5 over r minus 3. And the first thing is to factor the denominators so we can find the prime factors and then find the least common denominator from there. Now, r minus 3 in itself is a factor, okay? So, for example, if we have x squared plus 5x plus 6, we can factor this into x plus 3 and x plus 2, okay? Those are its prime factors. So, r minus 3 in itself is a prime factor. So, if one of the prime factors is r minus 3, okay, the other factor is r, then we need to multiply them together to give us our least common denominator, okay? So, we have 6 over r. And what are we missing? We are missing the r minus 3. So because we're missing that, we need to multiply the top by that also to keep it balanced. Let me extend this line. Minus 5 over, we already have the r minus 3. The only thing we were missing was the r. So we need to multiply the top by the r to keep it balanced. Okay. Now that we have the same denominator, we're going to write r times r minus 3. We're just going to leave it in this factored form. That's fine. Okay, and now we're ready to multiply and then add. So in the top, we're going to distribute. We get 6r minus 18 minus 5r. Okay, we have common terms here, like terms. So we're going to do 6r minus 5r is r minus 18. And then we're left with r over r minus 3. Sorry, I should move this down so it doesn't impede the path of the other one, okay? And then we can just leave it like that, and that's our answer, okay? So that is how we do it with more complicated polynomials with variables, okay? So here we have another example. As we can see, we do not have a common denominator. Now, one thing you should recognize, though, is that these are opposites, okay? These are opposites. So let's go ahead and factor the second one, this one, so that looks a little similar to the first, okay? So I'm going to leave the first one, y minus 2, plus 8, and I'm just going to factor the bottom by itself, okay? So not finding at least common denominator yet. So I need to multiply this. I'm going to factor out a negative 1, and what's left inside? Well, a negative 1 times a positive y will give me a negative y, and a negative 1 times a negative 2 will give me a positive 2, okay? Now you can see that we're making progress, but it's not the same denominator yet. You can see that we still have this negative 1 here, okay? So we have two factors here. We have y minus 2 is a factor, but we have this additional factor of negative 1. So the only one we need to change is the first fraction. That's missing the negative 1 factor. So we need to do y over, again, y minus 2 is already a factor, but now we need to multiply it by negative 1. And if we multiply the bottom by negative 1, we have to multiply the top by negative 1, the missing factor. Okay, plus, and this one already has all the factors, negative 1, and, oops, let's make that blue, y minus 2. Okay, that one already had all the factors. So now we have, in the top, 8 minus y, because y times negative 1 is negative y, so we can put that after the 8, over y minus 2 with a negative 1 there. Okay, and we could put this negative in the top, we could put it in the bottom. I'm just going to change how it looks a little bit. Technically this is good, okay, but I'm kind of just more of an organizational person, so I'm going to move this to the top and call this a negative 8 plus y over y minus 2. That's the same value, and then I'm going to rearrange it to get y minus 8 over y minus 2. Okay, so that would be my final answer. And the advantage of putting it in this form versus that form is that you get to see the zeros a lot easier. You can see that an 8 would make the top 0 and a 2 would make the bottom 0. Okay, so that really is your final answer there. Okay, hope this was helpful. If you want to go over this tougher example here with 3 different fractions, come talk to Mr. West. Maybe we'll do that in class. Other than that, have a great day. Talk to you later.